here we are today with Auntie Sammy, cousin Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy, how are you going?
Good. I've had a great weekend.
Good
Great to
weekend.
be out in the country.
Yeah, so it was pretty fun. We took you around and showed you a few things around what we do, just for fun. Not even really for fun. It's just stuff we do. So it was trying to keep in in my own headspace because it's hard for me to show people fun from the city because I don't know what's fun and I don't know what's just my day-to-day life. And for something that's so day-to-day for us can be so amazing for someone that's
Like seeing your tip.
yeah, like going to the tip. Like we have a tip.
Your big hole in the ground.
Yeah. They're just, day-to-day things. So, yeah, we went around and went to the river and all that sort of stuff. So, did you have fun?
I did. I had a great time at the tip. It was really fun when we thought the kids weren't going to jump in, but they sure did. It was freezing cold. There was no way I was getting in there. But the kids really loved it and you didn't seem to catch anything. But at least the excitement was there of getting the hook taken away every time we possibly get a catch.
We had a couple bites and we had a couple hookups, but unfortunately that's fishing.
Yeah, and luckily I brought my classic, I had my beach umbrella in the car, which was good, saved the day from the country heat, which was good.
It actually warmed up pretty quick down there.
It sure did.
Yeah.
It was so nice. It was nice being down there.
It was hard. I couldn't have stayed there any longer. I was just going to drink way too many beers.
Yeah.
It was
Get a bit too comfy. I was about to lie down with the pillows and go back and relax.
No, it was good. It was good. So, where are you from? Tell us a bit about yourself before we get started. Where are you from?
I'm from the northern beaches of Sydney. So I grew up in Clareville and then we moved when I was about 4 to the country for 4 years and then back to the northern beaches and I've been there ever since. I live in Newport at the moment. Look over at in the northern beaches. We look over this really beautiful dog beach, which is really nice.
It is a nice
look out
spot.
from our window.
It's a nice
Yeah,
spot.
we're very lucky where we are. We've been there for 8 years in this rental, and we're very lucky. Our landlord doesn't mind us staying there for as long as possibly can.
Yeah.
If it's a gold mine.
Yeah, that's right. It's the real estate there is frigging crazy.
I know. I'm lucky to be there for 8 years. Means my rent hasn't gone up really at all in 8 years, which is unheard of on the northern beaches. Everyone else has been stung by those increases.
It's astronomical. Like even when we were living on the coast, like it's a big difference from the northern beaches, but the difference in rent from the country to the coast and then to the northern beaches again it is crazy. Like I hear stories of people, they're paying $2,000 a week rent. Like
I know, it's insane, and we're really lucky. We have it's an old home, but it's got quite a few rooms, so we're really lucky to rent out most of those rooms to housemates, which makes our rent nearly non-existent. So it's a nice passive income coming through. People that come and stay with us become part of the family, which we really enjoy. And still being 31, it's the reality of living in the northern beaches if you don't want to waste all your money on where you live.
Yeah. And it's good though that you can do that and help other people. Like I'm sure you're not charging an astronomical amount of rent.
No, they're really lucky. So they have a lot of freedom when they come to our house and we make sure it creates a home. And most of the time the people that come and stay with us are people who are new to Sydney, so it gives them a sense of family when they come and stay with us. And it's really nice. And we've had, I think over the 8 years I've been there, I think I've almost had about 20 housemates, and most of the time they're coming through, so they stay for about a year or two and then they move on, and because we've got 3 rooms that we rent out. So it's been really nice.
Yeah.
Having all these different relations. Yeah.
Like
I do get called the mum. I know.
No, that's cool. And it is such a nice spot. Like when I've been there a few times, I like going out the back and just like looking up at all the houses on the hill and everything.
It's really beautiful.
It's such a different thing for us to be there. Like when we walk out the back, we have nothing. We have trees and paddocks. And when you go to the city at your house, it's like there's just everywhere you look, there's something going on. Like this.
And we're really lucky where we live. Not many places on the northern beaches where you don't have to pay an astronomical amount of money to have somewhere you got privacy. We have quite a lot of privacy in our back garden. Our neighbours are quite, lower than us, so we're higher, so no one looks into our yard.
Yeah,
and we
I
get
never thought about that as
look
well.
over at the valley rather than looking at someone's back garden.
Yeah, you don't
quite unheard of in those areas.
Yeah. I'd never thought of it that way. It's good that you're so close to people, but you also still have that that privacy there.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and our neighbours are great. Some of them have been there for like 20, 30 years. So those people told us the history of the house, and it's had an interesting history.
Yeah, right.
And then for us, they're very patient with us. Not all the time. We do socialise quite a lot, but we do have some big parties there,
Oh, yeah.
and they do push it into the night. And we're so lucky. Most people get a call from the police, probably like knocking on the door around 12.
Yeah, yeah.
We can go to 5 a.m. and our neighbours are like,
Yeah, yeah.
The music was good.
yeah. That's right. And it's not every friggin' weekend. So
No, it's normally every
yeah.
6 or 4 months that we possibly do something,
Yeah.
starting to spread out a bit. But yeah, we pushed it a bit with our engagement party
Yeah.
recently.
I'm not glad I didn't get to go. We were coming and then something what popped up. There was something that we couldn't come.
Thea got sick.
Yeah.
She couldn't come down.
Which was a shame. But I did also see so many people at your house, and I was like, I would have been so friggin' awkward, man. I would have been there like, oh, dang.
We're pretty lucky. Like we've got quite a big collection of friends from all
walks.
walks. You know, old housemates from my partners, like Culture in Serbia. They came, and then all my friends as well, and older people. So it was a nice collection. Everyone got along quite well, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And like my dad and his partner were the last ones kicking at 5 a.m. going, why are you going to bed? Stay up and dance. Like I'm exhausted.
I could imagine. Very good. All right, so we've got your background. We've got a bit of a background there. Let's try and kick it off. We had a bit of a dry run last night, but
I was pretty tired last night. Hence why we're doing it in the morning.
Yeah. I want you to try and think back and tell me your earliest memory as a child. What's the first thing
I
you
was
can
actually
remember?
thinking about that last night.
Yeah.
The story I told you was, I think, a little bit later on in life. But then I was thinking when I was really young, when I told you a story last night, it was about having rabbits.
Yeah.
Whereas this time I was thinking about it when we lived in the country. I think that's where I have a lot of memories. And I do think photos bring back memories.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about it. We actually, for Christmas one year, Santa brought us the Shetland pony.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting as a kid. I think we were like 4 and 2 at the time.
Yeah.
And over the moon.
It would have been awesome.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing as a country kid is to get a horse.
Yeah, and we called him Yogi Bear, and he was this beautiful brown, shaggy looking Shetland pony. And I remember we were let loose as kids in the city and in the country.
Yeah.
And I remember this one. It's, every memory you normally have is purely from a high emotion. So this was when we were like climbing over the horse, and he was so tolerant. Yeah. But my brother was a pest. And we just pester him. And one day he just cracked it, went to kick, and got me instead.
Oh no.
But it didn't hurt too much. But I do remember that, and I remember going, oh, how dare you try and hurt him?
Yeah.
And get me in the process. But I do remember that being like a really positive and informative time of my life, really focusing on caring for animals because we were really responsible for them.
Yeah.
And then I remember a bit later on, after that, we were allowed to get a cat. We got a cat, and that cat decided to find another cat and have babies. And on my birthday, she had kittens on my birthday. So we woke up to find kittens in the shed, and I was over the moon. But then I think those memories are really stuck in my mind because sadness came with some of them. So when my grandmother brought her dog down who didn't like cats, I got to keep one of the kittens. Yeah. And when she came down, she grabbed it it snapped her spinal cord. So she passed away in a box. And I think that was my first real tragic loss as a child.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, it sucks too when any animal, cat, dog, horse, bird,
anything.
Like anything.
Yeah.
It's your first one is so traumatic.
So embedded in my brain, and I hated their dog ever. Like every time I looked at it, I just filled with hate. Yeah. Because I couldn't understand.
Yeah, why would you do that? Like,
I was so young, I couldn't understand why a dog would want to kill an innocent little kitten. Or not kill it, but attack it.
Maim it to the point where it's it's got to go. It's always the trauma, I think, when you ask someone a question like that. The easiest way people always remember is like a trauma event. Like it's so
high emotion is what makes the memory stick.
And that's part of the reason why I've wanted to do this podcast because my memory's so terrible with remembering things where people say to me like, remember when we did this? And like, I would never have remembered that because it was a core memory for someone else.
Yeah, then it pops it back in.
And it comes back to you and you're just like, I would, there's no way in the world I would never even thought of that again in my life until you brought it up. Like,
I feel the same. I feel when I meet some people, they have such a vivid memory of their childhood and can picture things really vividly with like what clothes people were wearing, where they were, what it looked like. But mine's quite dabbled. Like they go, do you remember this? I'm like, nope.
Absolutely not.
And that's why I said before, photos are the things that bring life back to me a little bit. And Jess, your partner, she's the one that has so many more memories than I do. She'll mention everything.
Everything. She'll be like there, like even with us, but I know with you when I've seen her do it to you. Like, remember like when we were here, when we were kids and you're just like, no, man.
Literally, we were driving through town. She's like, we sat over there, and I was like, I don't even remember coming to Forbes, let alone sitting right there.
Yeah. There's always someone in the family that has that. Like, you were wearing a black shirt at Christmas in 2009. It wasn't like, no, go away.
I can't even remember what I wore yesterday, let alone 6 years ago.
Yeah, no one needs that sort of memory. Like it must be tiring for some people to have that sort of memory. Like
I always like want a memory, but I also do think it does help you move past things.
Oh, yeah.
And I have always had that. I move past grudges so quickly because I tend to forget. Like not forget, but my brain just makes me go, oh well.
Yeah.
And I think it's a positive thing. I used to be frustrated by it because I'm like, oh God, I remember now. I have to be angry with you.
Yeah.
Definitely as a kid when it frustrated me. Now I find it such a blessing.
Do you think that's because you're more forgiving, like more resilient?
I've always been quite forgiving and empathetic because I've always had to be the more sensible one and just learnt that it doesn't get me anywhere. Like as I mentioned with the animals, like I like caring, I like being there for people and animals. So for me, sitting in a grudge doesn't do anything for my own self.
100%. And
all it does is give them some power that I don't want to give out anymore.
Yeah, and that's another thing. That's same with that. I hold grudges, but then I get to the point where I'm just like, you're not worth my energy on that, man. And when someone sees you, and it fucking it burns my piss. When someone sees that I'm like I don't like them, and I'm just like, oh. And then they smile at you. They're like, yeah, I got you. And then I'm saying to myself, like, you just fell straight into it. Like, just fucking let it go, Elsa. Like, stop. And then just smile back and just be like, you just lost everything I hated for you. I now don't, like, you're nothing. I don't even know your existence anymore. And then you feel so good.
So
it's the
much
best
better,
thing.
yeah.
It's the best thing ever. Yeah. That's one of my things maybe in the last 2 years I've learnt to do is not to forgive, but to forget. And to just be like, it's not worth you shouldn't be in my brain when I'm standing in a shower.
Like, no, you should be living there rent free. There's no benefit to you, and the only person you're hurting is yourself.
100%. And I think me and Marco spoke about how resilient and empathetic you really are, and and it's something that we all know. So, and if anyone's watching this and knows Sammy, knows that she's one of the most beautiful-hearted humans that I've ever met. So yeah, we all know it. It's good. It's good to have a couple of those people in your life. So
yeah, I think when I was younger, it was taken advantage of slightly and never really appreciated. But I think now that everyone's starting to grow up and emotional intelligence has been put on the table as something important, I am now turned to and respected in that regard. Whereas before, I think some people saw it as a weakness.
A weakness, that's right. Yeah. Well, that's so. You say you had to be that person. Can you run us through why you thought as a child that you had to be that person?
I think,
as a child, it's a big thing to have to try and do.
I think sometimes people are naturally born with it more.
Yeah.
I know my parents have both come from scenarios that made them had to be a certain way in terms of either shutting down some emotions or excelling into other areas because of protecting themselves. Like my dad is adopted and probably shut down a lot of that side of himself. Yep. My mum came from a slightly dysfunctional family growing up. And I think when we were born into the world, something they always wanted was their own nuclear family. and to work really hard at maintaining structure and
Yeah.
happiness. And I think sometimes when people try to do that without the tools on how to actually communicate, things get brushed under the rug quite regularly
Right.
to keep the peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my brother was always a beautiful soul, but he's always been high energy and took a lot of their time to focus on. So therefore, when you're the oldest and you're seemed as being quite switched on, a lot more responsibility is put onto you
Yeah.
to
Right.
hold down the fort, keep the peace,
Yeah.
keep quiet.
Yeah.
You can handle your emotions.
Yeah.
And I noticed growing up, my feelings felt big, but I didn't even recognize them. I was very good at shutting them down and storing them in my body. And now growing up, I'm having to unlearn a lot of those habits and then my sister was, I was born first, then my brother 2 and a bit years later.
Yeah.
And then my sister was 8 years after me. So
Yeah.
there was a time where, I was the center of their world. And then that quickly shifted into someone else being the center, who was really a lot to handle. And then, my little sister comes along, and because you're the age of 8, you're asked to step up and somewhat be like a little surrogate mother.
It's more of a responsibility. And in a way, like I know what you're saying, and it is hard to, when you're trying to hold your own shit together and then people start seeing that as your strength, but it's really just you fucking holding your shit together. And people are like, oh, she's so strong like that. Like we can now rely on her. Is that
I thought it was something that was positive. At school, I was also a little bit older because when we lived in the country, I wasn't eager to get moving into school.
Yeah.
We lived on a farm and I had slight speech problems and have dyslexia and ADHD. So for me, it wasn't like the place that my mum thought would be the right fit when I was younger. And I was born in December, so mum actually held me back.
Right.
So I'm a year older than everyone in my class.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And, during high school, the kid, like my friends would refer to me as their mum.
Oh, right, yeah.
The parents would know I'd be the responsible one, even though I was the one with no rules.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I was allowed to run free when my parents divorced when I was 15. So after 15, it was like, you're on your own, the kind of thing. I mean, I was loved and looked after, but I didn't have like a curfew. I didn't have to necessarily tell my dad where I was. I think he just trusted that I would work it out.
That you're always doing the right thing. And
which then I think naturally made me even more responsible because I was responsible for my friends who were younger. Who hadn't been allowed freedom ever. So when they were allowed freedom, it they would end up in shitty situations where they couldn't call their parents, where I always called my dad.
Yeah.
But then I realized when I got older, I think always wanting to care for people was neglecting caring for myself.
Right.
And that's something I'm trying to undo. When I went to uni, I had my first back collapse. I couldn't walk for like 3 weeks. I was literally hunched over at the age of 18, which is nuts.
Damn.
Like you shouldn't at 18 not be able to
that's
be mobile in your back. And it's not like I was unfit or overweight or anything. I think it was all stored emotion and tension in my body. And I started getting I started vomiting from it, and I realized for a long time I might have actually had anxiety or overwhelm from emotions that I just shoved down there, and then
it'll make you sick. Yeah. And it can really, like, that sort of stuff. People joke about. I joke about it about like you're anxious, get over it. But that stuff can make you really sick.
And if you ignore it, it just festers in your body. It doesn't go away.
Yeah.
And so that's something I've been really big on working on is being present with my emotions.
Yeah.
Sitting with them. I think because when you are naturally more of a positive person, you tend to guilt trip yourself into being happy. There are people dying in this world from starvation.
Yeah.
There are wars going on. Your life is so cozy. Why are you feeling any negativity? Why are you letting stress enter your body? And I would just swoosh it to the side and it just didn't go away. And I just kept getting worse. My legs would start to get nerve pain down through my legs. And everyone just saying, you got to stretch, you got to do this. And I went to a lot of professionals over it. And it wasn't until I discovered NET, which is kinesiology. And I know some people think that's woo-woo, but for me, I don't care whatever you want to do that makes you feel better. For this, it made me
It worked?
so much better. And I learned to feel it in my body and, feel where I was feeling. And I think when you are more of an empathetic, absorbing person, you tend to even absorb other people's feelings.
Correct. Yeah, you definitely can. You can absorb a lot more when you're open to all that sort of stuff. Like, I'm like that. Like, if someone's in a bad mood, I absorb that energy straight away.
Yeah,
I just
shifts
can't.
you.
I can't be sitting in a room with someone that's pissed off because
No,
I'm
I
just
can't.
like,
I feel so uncomfortable. I'm
yeah.
like, I just want to fix you. How do I hug you? What do I do?
That's right.
Oh, you don't want to hug? Oh, I don't know what to do now. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about it? Oh, you want to talk about it? That was actually something I had to learn. Let people sit with their own feelings. I'd want to fix everything.
wanna fix it all
And
the
that's where
time.
like I had a few issues with relationships. I'd push and push to try and solve and make happiness really quickly.
Yeah.
And all I did was make it worse because I wasn't allowing them to sit in their feelings.
You weren't letting them stoke their own fire. You were
Yeah.
trying to stoke it too,
Yeah.
and then it was just getting out of yeah. I've been there. Jess is so bad for that as well, and I'm bad for it as well. Like
Yeah, but it's letting go of a little bit of control. And,
you really want to help this person you love.
Yeah, and
but
you've also got
sometimes you
to
can't.
believe that they have the strength in themselves to do it. You don't have to protect everyone
That's
and
right.
look after everyone. It doesn't actually serve them. Sitting with someone and just letting them go through it is way more powerful.
It is. It takes so much to not want to take the wheel. Like it's
Yeah.
so hard to not want to drive that car when you're just like, I can do this for you. You're not helping. This is not helping me at all, man. Like just step back. Just it's cool, be here with me, but just fucking sit in the passenger seat for a minute.
I'm still learning. I think the journey of life is constantly trying to evolve into the person you aspire to be, and it's not a destination. It's a continuous journey of going, all right, this is something I'd like to work on, and that's one thing that I'm still
correct.
actively working on.
So I was sort of the same. Like about 5 years ago, maybe a little less. I was saying to myself, I heard a TikTok or a YouTube video that was like, can you sit there right now and tell your past self that this is where you wanted to be? Like you're doing good. And then I sat there and looked at like what I did in the last 2 or 3 years, and I was like, yeah, like you're doing okay, man. Like if you could, your past self would be proud of you for where you are right now. Like you've kicked every goal you wanted to kick, and you're on a different path now. Like you didn't even think you were going to be on this path.
Yeah.
And that's what you said with like life always evolving, and you're always changing with it. It's so unreal. What I want this week, maybe this time next year, it was not even on the radar anymore. Like it so easily changes, and you just got to be proud of yourself for doing that shit.
Yeah, it forever evolves, and I think we tend to want to, as humans, look at what we've done or what we have, and I think sometimes I want more for myself and want more to get to that level of freedom and peace. But I have to remember that I am creating that in terms of focusing on my energy and
Correct.
focusing on emotional intelligence and my own mental health. That's creating the peace and freedom.
Yeah.
And then you have to sit back and go, actually, I handled this way better than I would have 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, it's a massive job too.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to notice that stuff, to be self-aware that you're doing that whilst still playing the game. Like you're
still
you're
hustling
still
in life and
grinding
going,
life.
oh my God, why is it so hard?
Yeah. No, it's so hard to do whilst keeping your head above water.
Yeah.
So I don't know, if there was a book on it, we'd all know how to do it properly, but everyone's different, I suppose. So there's probably heaps of books on it. So
Yeah, I'm sure there are. There's heaps of books on everything, but you can read those words, and I think it's all a journey of finding it yourself.
Yeah.
You can read as many self-help books as you want, or podcasts and everything.
That's right.
Until you actually put into practice and start doing those little things that make each day a little bit easier.
Everything resonates differently, like with a different person. So a book I pick up is the same book that you pick up, but like I'm taking nothing away from it.
Yeah.
Whether you're taking you're like, wow, this is a really good book. So that's good. That's good stuff. So we're to the point. Sammy is a very beautiful, empathetic person. She's grown up that way, just with no fault of anyone else's. That's just who she was wired to be. Yeah. That's just life. That's how some people are. Some people are lovers. Some people are fighters. Some people are beautiful. Some people are ugly. It's just how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. So moving on from, so you're about, let's go from about 8 or 9, where you were still in the country, or did you move?
No, we moved back when I was about to turn 8, and then my sister Olivia was born.
Yeah.
And we moved back to the Northern Beaches. So it was a big shift going from I started kindergarten in the country, and I came to Sydney, I think partway through year 1, I believe. So it was a big change being from country kids coming back to the city.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it was a big shift, but I did enjoy it.
Did you so you went straight into school? Was the school the same sort of setup, or like, was it hard fitting in as a country kid to a
I
city
don't
kid, or there
really
was kids and
remember it as
kids?
much. I think kids are kids. I think I've always naturally been more associated with the kids that wanted to run around, and most of the time when we were younger, that was boys. So
Yeah.
my favorite little hobby at school when I was in kindergarten and a little bit of year one in the country was kiss and chasey. But we weren't allowed to do that at a Catholic school in the Northern Beaches.
Oh yes.
So yeah, when I joined the school, I can't remember it being difficult. I don't think I've had a lot of troubles fitting in as a kid.
Yeah.
I think I naturally found people who gravitated towards me and the people who didn't. And so most of the time that was the boys when I would run around. I had a lot of close girlfriends as well, but I'd flip-flop between, running around playing soccer with the boys and the girls that wanted to as well, and then go and sitting with the girls and having a little
having the girl
chit-chat.
time. Yeah. Right, very good. So with Sammy, when she's growing up into a teenager, what sort of a teenager were you? You said that you were pretty responsible after 15.
Yeah, but I think, some adults would say I was probably a bitch.
Yeah.
I think from being someone who was so emotionally aware and analytical of situations,
Yeah.
you tend to learn how to manipulate a situation.
Yeah.
To your benefit.
Control.
And I think when my parents divorced when I was 15, they were crucial years of where do I sit now? I went from an environment where, my mum would want me home every second weekend,
Right.
spend time with the family. But when you're 15 and your brother's 12, 13 and your sister's 7,
Yeah.
and the last thing you want to be doing is hanging out with them. They're all lame. You're,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you're
that- you
15, I
don't-
want to be out and about. You want to be
That's
spreading your
right.
wings.
Yeah.
And I think now we have a much more of a higher education on understanding what teenagers need, and I needed to be let loose.
Yeah.
And I was, tried to be kept at home, but I was a social butterfly. I was literally out of the house as often as I could, and we lived slightly out of town, like not out of town, but like away from the main
hustle.
streets.
Yeah,
We were a bit more further into the bush.
Yeah.
So for me, getting a bus, if I went out, I was staying out.
Yeah,
It was
okay,
too
right.
hard just
Yeah,
to
yeah.
pop home, pop out.
Yeah.
And then when my parents divorced, Mum moved away because she couldn't cope. So I stayed with Dad, and he was living his own new fantasy life. So I was kind of let loose a little bit, which I think was actually quite good.
It's
For that
freeing and it's
time.
good for
Yeah,
it's
I
very
wasn't
good for a teenager.
Yeah,
Like.
and I was still, I would say I'm a little bit less risk averse now than I was then. Like I was a bit more like, oh, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, okay.
When I was younger than I
okay.
am now. So it was actually worked out well. I didn't do anything too silly when I was younger. It was just more, I just wanted to be out of the house.
Yeah, you
all the time.
just want that freedom to
And I
be
think
your own person.
Yeah, coming from a family that divorced and through an affair of someone we'd known since we were young.
Oh, right.
It was hard to be thrown into that environment immediately. Like I was thrown into living with my dad and his new partner, who I'd known since I was 8.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
so
already
it's a
know
big
this
shock.
person.
Yeah.
She's a big energy.
Yeah.
And then you go, I'm not a priority anymore. So you make noise. Like I made noise.
Yeah.
Like I was like, how do I fuck this shit up?
Yeah. Yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, rattle some cages.
Yeah. And then because I was, more emotional, my dad would tell me, you've got to suck this up. You've got to say sorry. You've got to do that. And so I was like, all right, don't want to be around.
Yeah. Let's get away from the fucking fire then. So
Yeah. And there were so many kids involved that were higher priority because they didn't handle it.
Right. Yeah.
It was a lot. There's 3 on that side, there's 3 on ours. So there's a lot of big energies coming together, and we're all massive energy kids.
Correct.
And the parents are the biggest
they're
energies
the
out of all
biggest
of us.
fireball, yeah. Yeah, no, that's
And my mum's quite a calm, she's a nurse, so she's got a quite calming energy, and, not having her around, I didn't really have stability, but I also didn't have someone nagging me.
right.
It was just like pure freedom. I actually got confused. I think I went from, having a bedtime to having to brush my teeth and, go have a shower. I was like,
Yeah.
when do I go to bed? Like,
Someone,
who's going to tell me?
can someone tell me that I'm going to brush my teeth, but
Yeah.
can someone fucking tell me?
And
I just need to
and
hear
I
it.
struggled with routine so bad, and I now realize. I mean, I was diagnosed as a kid with ADHD, and I think it's proven that women hide it. I mean, girls hide it a lot more than
Yeah.
boys do. Like my brother was a nightmare, but I wasn't obvious. But
Yeah.
I struggled with things like routine. So then it was like, might not brush my teeth a few days.
Yeah, right. Okay.
I don't know, or wear the same uniform over and over again. Just take it off, put it back on. And like I was clean, but I didn't know how to have organization around me. Like
Yeah,
everything was
right.
pretty because I'm a designer. So everything looked nice. I looked nice.
Yeah.
But whether it was systemized and,
Yeah.
you know, I
yeah,
had
yeah.
routine and
Everything
stability,
was-
I
yeah.
didn't. I didn't have any of that.
It was good to look at, but on the underneath it was getting
Yeah,
a bit
don't open the
wild.
cupboards.
Yeah. Classic story, hey, just jam. Clean your room. Okay, jam it all in the cupboard.
Well, I wasn't told to clean my room, and I think they were lucky because I was a little designer kid. It had to look pretty for me.
Yeah, okay.
And like if people came over to the house, I'd like make sure my door was wide open. They could see my cushions on my bed beautifully
So,
with my
yeah.
throw and.
You've always been like that. So that's your profession now, yeah?
Yeah,
Let's
I've
dig into
always
that.
been
That's
like that. I was like the kid where you were told not to rearrange your room, so I'd put a closet against the door so no one could come in while I shifted my
Yeah,
bunk
yeah.
bed around, like I'm heaving it back and forth.
Yeah.
I'd rearrange all my like little knickknacks all over my shelves,
Yeah.
like, pretty much every day.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it was
yeah,
like my
yeah.
little pride and joy to make sure it all looked beautiful, and then I'd get bored of it, so I'd switch it all up again.
Change it up. Yeah.
Had everything was covered, like every wall, and then my style would change and it would change it all up again. And yeah, I've always loved it. I've
Yeah,
always found it quite a strong passion of mine. And we didn't, you know, we were comfortable growing up, but my parents never threw money at us to buy things. So
Right.
mine was more like collectible, things I'd find and collect and put together. So it was very mismatched. But I
Mismatched,
think
but
that
that
makes
makes
you a bit more creative sometimes.
That
when you don't have the nice
that'd
things.
really help you out in your profession today. Is
Yeah.
like getting it done with what you had,
Yeah.
and then making things work that wouldn't normally work like that.
Literally,
You
my
can-
whole house at the moment, like we have in the Northern Beaches, there's at the tip they have a buyback center,
Yeah.
which where people who just dump stuff that are still not good enough to, you know, well, sometimes people are lazy, they don't want to
Don't
sell it
sell it,
online.
yeah.
They just dump it at the tip, but it's not shitty enough to end up in the pile. So they
Yeah,
put in
yeah.
this buyback center.
Yeah.
I go to every weekend and just collect stuff.
Oh,
And we've
yeah.
collected all these like really cool furniture, little knickknacks, and I go to op shops all the time. My house is a big collective.
I love the tip
Yeah.
shop. We call it Smelly Kmart.
That's okay. Ours has got the buyback center. You go to the weigh-in, they're like, what are you here for? I'm like, buyback.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't get anything. It's like the luck of the draw. I used
Yeah.
to miss, my dad and I used to always drive around when we had big council cleanup.
I love it.
Oh my God,
It's
you
the
get the
best.
trailer and you're just like,
Yeah.
that, this,
Yeah.
that. And then they stopped doing that. Now you have to book appointments in. So
What?
Yeah, I know it's crazy. No, you know, so you only see sporadically a few people who have them.
Yeah.
And most of the time there's so much crap because you actually have to book it in. It's not just, oh, the council cleanups today. What can we get rid of?
What can we get? Yeah.
Yeah, I miss those days. They
Oh
were
no,
fun.
we still got it out here.
Oh, really?
yeah. I like
Are there any treasures?
there's so much treasure in town when you go to like the rich parts of town.
They say it in
It's
Sydney,
so
go to the eastern
good.
suburbs
Yeah,
or
yeah.
go to the upper North Shore, lower North Shore.
It's so good.
And
I get in
people chuck
trouble.
out brand new stuff.
Yeah,
It's
I get in trouble. Like
insane.
I'll take the ute to town, and Jess is like, no, you're not. And I'll see something, be like, oh, can we go home and get the ute? She's like, you are not.
Oh, you have to grab it too. When we were walking through, I was walking my dog through Newport, and someone put out this really beautiful coffee table, and I was like, "All right, we'll race home and come back."
Yeah.
Oh, that time
It's gone, man.
Gone.
It's gone.
Should have waited right there.
You got to
or
stay
started
with
carrying
it. You got to stay with it, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So let's dig into your career if we can. And where did you start? What was the start of your designer pathway into that's what you're going to do for work?
Well, I think I've been very lucky knowing that I always wanted to do something in design. I think I always felt empathetic towards people who didn't know what they wanted to do, or
Yeah.
at least a starting path. I know I had quite a lot of smart friends who were like, I don't know what I want.
Yeah.
Where I always knew this is where I wanted to go. Didn't know how or where, but I started. And when I was at school, I was more social than good at school. I was better at talking to the teachers than doing the homework. And so I got by on personality and, you know, communicating
Yeah.
with people. But then, you know, I would do my assessments last minute, but I'd still do really well in design.
Yeah, okay, right.
And then when came to going to uni, because I didn't do overly really well at school. My ATAR wasn't, it wasn't shocking, but it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
And then so that limited me getting into it. It's bizarre. A design at some of the unis was like over 90. And you're like, most creative people don't actually excel at all the things that school has, which is pretty much, if you're good at English at school, you can pretty much smash school.
Yeah.
You can smash anything. If you've got a good memory, you're flying.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't have that. So I started, my dad actually, he at the time owned a concrete polishing company, and he did some work at the new uni campus for UNSW. They had just opened up their own design college.
Yeah, okay.
So he actually took me there and showed me around because he knew how passionate I was. And he's like, you can come here if you want to. And I did. I applied for it. I applied for a fine arts degree because that's what I could get into.
Yeah.
And then when I joined, it was all right. I found that the bigger unis were so broad and so many people in the class that I didn't thrive.
Right, so it's more
I
of
needed
a
a
blanket
connection.
operation. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was there for, I think, 2 years, and I just was not doing well, and I wasn't forming connections with any of my uni friends because you're kind of in and out all the time.
Yeah.
You don't actually have time to like actually bond, and because we were at a design college, I didn't spend much time there. Whereas when you're on the big campuses, they spend time there.
Right,
There's things
you're
to
there
do.
more, right.
We didn't have that same level of socialization on this campus in Paddington. And because I came from Newport, it was like kind of path car, go to your class, go home.
Yeah, okay.
And then I just didn't do really well in a lot of those assessments, and I didn't enjoy the teachers or the syllabus. So I actually started looking at other unis, and my friend Jock, his mum was working in design. She was a stylist.
Right.
And I went and chat with her one day just saying, I'm a little bit lost. I don't know where to go. And she actually recommended White House Institute, which is a private design college in Surrey Hills, which was predominantly fashion, and they shifted into doing, they had graphic design and they had interior, structural interiors.
Yeah.
So I went there and had a look around and loved it. It was a smaller campus. When I started there was 7 people in my class.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
Which was perfect for me. Not that I formed many friendships with I was friends with everyone in the class. But because there's only 7 of you and you're coming from all these other places and all different ages. Some people were in their 30s. I was like mid to early 20s at this point. Early 20s.
Yeah.
And then some were like just fresh out of school. So you had this wide variety. So you all go along in class, but I didn't necessarily take friendships out of.
It was just easier to connect with 7 people rather
than
than
it was
30
easy to connect
people,
with the teachers.
Yeah.
So because it's a smaller college and it was private, the fees are astronomical. I don't even want to look at my uni debt. But what I found good was they hired professionals. Like one of my teachers was a working architect who had passion for design.
Yeah, that's good.
So you didn't just have teachers; you had people who worked in the industry who were really passionate.
People
so when
that
they
wanted
saw
to
you
be teaching,
when they saw people who weren't necessarily the most academic, but the people who had passion for it, they put your energy into you. So I got a lot of energy put into me, and I think that's where I really flourished into honing into skills. And they were practical skills. Like we learned software programs, which I was able to put together a portfolio that got me a job just like that.
Okay.
We had an assignment where we were meant to like research other companies and do a little bit of a portfolio on them. I took it upon myself to research people in my area and people that I liked their work.
Yeah, okay.
So it was a nice way to introduce yourself without going, hey, can I have a job?
Yeah.
I went in there asking them, and so I thought about how I felt about their environment.
Yeah.
And then after it, if I liked their energy, I'd go, hey, do you have any like work experience for me?
Yeah.
And then one of the guys I went to which was literally just down the road for me, actually at near the Newport pub, which used to be called the Newport Arms. He actually said, no, I want to hire you. So I got hired immediately. Like, so 6 months before finishing uni, I already had a job that I was going to work into full time. That was working for an architect. And I think that I found that hard as well when I started there, because you get so excited to work in design. You think it's going to be really collaborative like it is at uni.
Yeah.
And then when you start working, and it was just my boss, myself, a draftsman, and the boss's wife worked in admin.
Right.
There's only 4 of us, and my boss was a lot older. He was like my dad's age, and then the draftsman was 15, 20 years older than me still.
Yeah.
I didn't have that excitement, and I think with the ADHD and a designer and a collaborative person, immediately like my passion was like.
Yeah.
But I knew. Well, I think this is wrong. I don't think people should do this, but you're told stay in a job for 2 years.
Right.
So you have something concrete to put on your resume so people know you're reliable.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
stayed there for 2 years, even though I hated it. The boss's wife didn't really get my energy, and I think because I was bored, I just didn't work that hard sometimes. And
Yeah. Well,
sometimes I did, and then at other times I didn't. And she was rude to me.
Oh, okay.
And I
yeah.
ended up pulling it up on the boss. I said,
Fuck her anyway.
Yeah, he pulled me aside and he goes, how you feeling? And I was like, I feel like I'm being bullied. And he goes, yeah, she doesn't like you. And I was like, oh, cool. So we're all aware of it, but no one's doing anything about it.
Dang.
And I have heard from other people now, because she's like part of the circles, that she doesn't necessarily get along with other women too well.
Yeah.
So I didn't take it too personally, which is good. But after 2 years, I got made redundant, which I think was the best thing that happened to me. So like I wasn't fired, so it didn't hurt my heart. But I was made redundant, and I know he hasn't hired another interior designer since. So I know that I wasn't a good worker, so I wouldn't have kept me on either. But it's nice to know that I was made redundant, not fired. And when that happened, during that time I was at that job, I moved out of home.
Yeah.
Moved to the house I'm in now, actually. And it was, it's an old home, has a beautiful view, but it was just treated like crap.
Yeah.
So when I moved in there, the thing that gave it life is I started to love plants, and I started to add plants to every room. I think at one point I got up to about 100 plants around the whole house.
There's some plants in this
I
house.
had
There's
a
some
lot of
plants in this house.
And I liked when people would come over and they go, we love the energy of your house. We love the environment you've created. And I just started seeing what these living things could do to your space and how much they could transform it, that I just wanted to find a job that allowed me to do that.
Yeah.
So when I was made redundant, I didn't apply for jobs on Seek or anything. I just Googled companies that I liked their philosophy
That's
around
what you
plants.
want to be around. Yeah.
So I first started looking into interiors commercials, but when I would go into their offices, they just seemed a little too corporate for me. I was like, oh God, loud me's not going to want to be here every day, or they're not going to want me there. And so I ended up finding the company I work for now, and they weren't looking for me at that time. They weren't looking for an interior designer. They definitely weren't looking for anyone to come into the design studio, but he agreed to meet me. And I think once he met me, he liked my energy, my passion. So I've actually been there for now over 6 years.
And that's a boss move. Like that's how I like to get it. That's how I don't remember the last time I applied for a job. I think it's a boss move to look at where you want to work and get on the phone and be like, hey man, what's going on? Let's have a chat. Like,
and I did. I pushed for that job. I was like, please. And they were shifting. So they're predominantly a landscaping company at that time. They'd done a little bit of bits and bobs along the way, but they wanted to expand into doing full properties. So that interior design was part of that. And they didn't have any interior designers.
Yeah, okay.
And I think, you're taking less risk hiring a young girl who doesn't, require a massive salary. To come in and just see how it works for you. And I think it's paid off for them. I've been there for 6 years.
I think they like it. Yeah.
I think it's going well. And at the time everyone was like minimum 10 years older.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
And I think it took me a little bit of time to calm down into the environment. I mean, they even see the growth in me, and we've become quite a tight-knit family now.
Yeah, that's good.
My boss/manager is like my best friend at work, and he's like 12 years older, but we've got along, and he's always been really helpful in helping me, help me through doubts or overwhelm or, being too excited about things. And I'm not someone who shies away from any feedback. So I've always asked him, how are you feeling about me at the moment?
Yeah, like what's
how am I performing? He's like, oh, you need to probably focus a bit more.
Yeah.
And I found that because of our job before, when I was at the architects, when you're building a house, it can take 3-4 years before you see any results.
Right.
You've got to go do the design process, do approvals, get it through all these stages until you start building. And then even the building process can be slow. So I found with this job, we had such a wide variety of projects from doing quick landscape makeovers to doing interiors. Every job is slightly different, which makes it more exciting. Every client feels different.
Yeah.
And you've got multiple of them. At the moment, I've got like 10 projects going at the time. At the time, I've got a commercial job and quite a few residential jobs, some in Sydney, some up in Byron area. So everything's asking something different from me. And they're all at different stages. So it keeps you more intrigued and excited on 100%. your toes. Yes, my stress levels and my overwhelm flare up pretty regularly because my hyper focus goes so strong. I'm like, I'm going to smash this, and I'll happily sit at the office sometimes until like 10, 11, 12, which I don't want to do, but I get so hyper focused that I want to smash it out.
And it's good once you're in the zone and you're going. It's
and everyone's
so good
out of the office
to stay at it. Yeah. No, I love that. So do you design for them, like for the person that comes to your business, or do they like say like I want this, and this, and then you throw it all together, or do they just say I want you to fix this?
Yeah. So the process is the head director of the design. He goes out, meets the client. They will walk around the space and talk about what they want. Sometimes people just want to elevate their al fresco area, have a bit more entertaining outside, connecting the inside to the outside, which we thrive in. We're a design construct company, so we have a lot of knowledge about construction as well. And so he's been working in the industry for 25 years with this company. And he'll go through, and sometimes the client might call up going, I just need a new pool fence. Yeah, and then $1 million later, they have a whole new backyard and pool cabana because they just love working with us and they just keep seeing the potential what we can add. And if they've got the funds, they want to make it happen. And, my boss will turn up and go talk through ideas with them, and then he'll create a list of their requirements and their needs and what they'd like to see from the space. Right. Then he will give it to, there's 6 designers in our company. I think there's 6. Yeah. I think 6. And then they will give the project to the person who's most suited to the project.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Most suited to the client, most suited to the style. Yep. And then we'll go develop a concept alongside my director and boss and then my manager and boss. There's 2 of them, and we work alongside creating the concept, get the clients in, see if they love it. Most of the time we're pretty good to go. They love what they like, and, we create a plan and, a 3D and moods just to really sell the vision because, sometimes it's hard for people who aren't in the creative field to know what we're presenting. So you've got to try and bring it to life for them as much as they can. And then, once that stage has happened, normally, the project designer who, say, for example, myself, will run that project through every stage if they want to, and then go all the way to construction and then through to maintenance. So, I'm with those people for years sometimes. I've got a client who I've been working through since 2001 who's still sitting in the approval stage. Can't make his mind up. So, you go through waves, and like sometimes people get on board, then they disappear for a few years, or they go traveling, or they work out what they actually want to invest in, and they'll come back around, or they go and do their research because our company is really unique in the regards that we're all in-house. And so we do estimation straight after concept, which, a lot of architects and designers do, but, you're doing on a square meterage, which when you're doing really high custom designs, it's too variable. You need to actually break down those costs, and we give that to clients.
Yeah, give them the
and it is overwhelming. It's absurd the amount of money things cost these days.
Yeah, 100%.
If you go to someone, hey, your landscape's going to cost you $500,000, you're like, you die inside. You're like, how do people have that amount of money? But we make it realistic. We don't want them to proceed with something they can't afford and get their hopes up.
Yeah, 100%.
So a lot of the time, sometimes clients, if they they can't fathom that, or they haven't done enough research to understand what the investment's going to be, will need to go and do their research, and then most of the time they come back.
And then we'll come back.
We're at a point now where we've got clients who we only want if they want to work with us. We're not for we're not fighting for clients to stay with us. We want the people that value us and the experience and the resources that we have to provide them.
Yeah. That's awesome. Was there I don't know how true it is your company works for a famous TV show or something like that, or is that just a rumor?
A famous TV show?
No. Well, I was told.
No. I always joke my boss is a little celebrity. No, he does a few of those morning show presentations where they bring clients in. And
cool.
He does a bit of those bits and bobs, and we've done some designs for some celebrities, and I just like calling him a little celebrity. He attracts the celebrities. He's such a humble person. It's just so funny. He's confident, but he's not one of those people that you like being the center of attention. And it's just so funny that he is someone who's on TV being filmed. He's so good at it. But he's not naturally a look at me
not
person.
Like that kind of person.
It's so funny.
No, that's cool. Righto, we might wrap up this first part. Would you want to do a second part?
Sure.
We'll do another one.
Yeah, how long are we going for?
Well, we're just done 45.
Jesus Christ.
We might come back for a part 2 on life outside of Sammy being professional and what Sammy does for fun. And yeah, we'll do that for the next one. So tune in next week for part 2.
Okay.